Before we get into the lesson, here is the chart showing all the tenses. There are three types of tenses: past, present, and future. And each tenses have four aspects. It's a simple, continuous, perfect, and perfect continuous tense. So when we combine all, we get 12 tenses in English. So some way we can make tenses for the present and the future and the past. We are going to discuss all in this lesson. Let's begin with the present simple tense. So present simple tense is the tense where we use the first form of verb plus s or es. Like it's very simple: I study, you study, or he studies. So present simple tense when you are offering habitual action that you always or never do. Example: he always comes late to the class. It's a habitual action. And we have a great example here: he always comes late to the class, because it's his habit. So or when you are referring to unchanging truth, for example, the sun rises in the east, is an unchanging truth. So or when you are making general statement or fact, example, they are friendly, is a general statement or fact. So after simple present, we move toward the present continuous tense. Here in present continuous tense, continuous, you already know what is continuous. Here we use the first form of verb. Plus is mr. For example, I am studying, you are studying, or he is studying. So in present continuous tense, one activity is in progress at the moment of speaking. Example: I'm explaining something to the class right now. Or one activity is begin before and continues into the future without stopping. For example, he is taking 16 credit this semester. Or when an activity is developing and changing. For example, he is understanding English more and more. He's understanding English more and more. So after present continuous tense, we move toward the present perfect tense. In present perfect tense, we always use have or has plus third form of verb. For example, I have studied. Here we use have, and here we use third form of verb like is studied. In present perfect tense, you can say that one activity happened at an unspecified time in past. At an unspecified time in past before the present. For example, they have already seen the movie. Or one activity has been repeated several times before now. For example, we have visited New York City many times. One activity was very recently completed before. For example, I have eaten. It's a very recent, sounds very recently. I have eaten. After present perfect tense, we go for the present perfect continuous tense. In present perfect continuous tense, it's very simple. We use have or has, and here we add one thing, which is been plus first form of verb plus ing. For example, I have been waiting her since the last 2 years. I have been. Here we use have and we use been. Waiting. Waiting is the first form of verb, and we use ing with wait. So in past perfect continuous tense, this tense is used to describe action that has been continuously in progress with indicating beginning of action. These actions are not completed. For example, I have been waiting here since the last 2 hours. I have been waiting here since the last 2 hours. So here we complete the course of tenses. Like here we complete the present tense, with aspects. There are 4 aspects of present tense. It is very simple, simple present, simple continuous, simple perfect, and simple perfect continuous. So after this we move toward past. Here past, we use past. First we go for the past simple past tense. Simple past tense, we always use the second form of verb. Just use the second form of verb, like I studied, you studied, or we studied. So in simple past tense, when an activity or situation began and ended at a particular time in past. For example, he was late to the classroom yesterday. Or, in other words, when an activity or situation is completed in past. Example, we arrived 3 weeks ago. Or, to refer the past habit. For example, she went to her university daily in 2016 because it was her past habit. So after this we move toward the past continuous tense. In past continuous tense we always use was or were plus first form of verb plus ing. In continuous tense mostly we use ing with first form of verb. Like example, he was sleeping, we were sleeping. In past continuous tense, like this is used to refer to action continuously in progress around a time in the past. Like this tense is used to refer to the action continuously in progress around a time in the past. For example, they were waiting when the taxi arrived. So after past continuous tense we move toward the past perfect tense. In past perfect tense we always use third form of verb plus had. For example, I had visited, we had visited. So in past perfect tense, the past perfect tense refer to the activity that happened before a specific time in the past. It's before a specific time in the past. For example, he had visited her many times before she died. Got it? It's the past activity one specific time in the past. This activity happened in specific time in the past. He had visited her many times before she died. So after past perfect tense we move toward the past perfect continuous tense. For past perfect continuous tense we always use had plus been. Here we add been plus ing. Example, I had been thinking about this topic early in the morning. And here we use had and been, and with think we already use thinking, ing, like first form of verb with ing. Like you can say that past perfect continuous tense, this tense used when an activity was continuously progressed before a specific time in past. Before a specific time in past, and it is continuous. So it was continuous. I had been thinking about this topic since early in the morning. So here guys we already covered 2 tenses with present and past with their 4 aspects. Like here we complete or 8 tenses. Now we move toward the future tense. In future tense go for future tense with first aspect is future simple future tense. In simple future tense we always use will or shall plus first form of verb Always remember, in future tense we always use will or shall. Example, I will work on it. In future tense to indicate that an activity or event will take place at the time in future. Example, next week we will work on punctuation. It's future tense, and like activity will be in future. Next week we will work on punctuation. Here we already use will because which shown the activity is in future. So after future simple future tense, we move toward the future continuous tense. So in future continuous tense, we move to we can say that in future continuous we always use will or shall. As I already told you that in future tense we mostly use will or shall. So here we use will or shall plus be plus first form of verb plus ing. Example, we will be flying over Pakistan. So in future continuous tense, this tense is used to refer an activity that will continuously progress some future time. The activity which continuously progress in some future time. For example, we will be flying over New York at noon tomorrow. Okay, so we will be flying over New York at noon tomorrow. After future continuous tense, we move toward the future perfect tense. In future perfect tense, we always use the third form of verb plus have plus will or shall. Like, she will have dinner before the game start. Here we use will or shall, which shows that activity is in future. Or then we use have, which shows that the aspect is perfect, and first form and third form of verb. So you can say in future perfect in future perfect tense, the future perfect tense express the idea that an activity will occur before some future time. For example, she will have finished dinner before the game starts. The future perfect express the idea that an activity will occur before some future time. For example, she will have finished dinner before the game starts. So after future perfect tense, we move toward the future perfect continuous tense, and this is the last tense. In future perfect continuous tense, we use first form of verb plus ing plus have been and will or shall. Example, he will have been working for 3 hours before you arrive. So like this tense is used to activity that will continuously in progress before a future time. For example, he will have been working for 3 hours before you arrive. Like, the activity will continuously in progress before a future time. So guys, here